In this video, we're going to go through AZ-204 review question and answers. There are going to be around 49 questions in this video. These questions come from various study areas listed here, ranging from Azure Compute Solutions, Azure Storage Solutions, Azure Security, troubleshooting and monitoring Azure solutions, and connecting and consuming Azure and third-party services. You have multiple applications running in a single app service plan. True or false? Each app in the service plan can have different scaling rules. The answer is false. The app service plan is the scale unit of the app service apps. If the plan is configured to run 5 virtual machine instances, then all apps in the plan run on all 5 instances. If the plan is configured for auto scaling, then all apps in the plan are scaled out together based on the auto scale settings. Question number 2. Which of the following app service plans is available only to function apps? The correct answer is consumption. The consumption tier is only available to function apps. It scales the functions dynamically depending on the workload. Question number 3. Which of the following app service tiers is not currently available to app service on Linux? Correct answer is shared. App service on Linux is only supported with free, basic, standard, and premium app service plans and does not have a shared tier. You cannot create a Linux web app in an app service plan already hosting a non-Linux web app. Which of the following settings are not swapped when you swap an app? Select all the answers that apply. Correct answers are publishing endpoints, always on, and custom domain names. Some configuration elements follow the content access a swap, not slot specific, whereas other configuration elements stay in the same slot after a swap, which is known as slot specific. Question number 5. Which of the following plans for functions automatically add compute power if needed when your code is running? Select all the answers which is applied to this question. The correct answers are consumption plan and premium plan. Both consumption and premium plans automatically add compute power when your code is running. Your app is scaled out when needed to handle load and scaled down when the code stops running. Question number 6. Is the following statement true or false? The statement is only functions running in the consumption plan require a general Azure storage account. The answer is false. On any plan, a function app requires a general Azure storage account, which supports Azure Blob, queues, files, and table storage. Question number 7. You created a function in the Azure portal. Which of the following statements regarding the direction property of the triggers or bindings are valid? Select all that apply. You can pause these videos in between before I reveal the answer. The answers to the question is: for triggers, the direction is always in. Input and output bindings can use in and out, and some bindings can use in out. All triggers and bindings have a direction property in the function.json file. Question number 8. Azure Functions uses a component called Scale Controller to monitor the rate of events and determine whether to scale out or scale in. Is the following statement true or false? The statement is: when you are using an Azure queue storage trigger, it scales based on the queue length and age of the newest queue message. The statement is wrong, so the answer is false. When using an Azure queue storage trigger, it scales based on the queue length and the age of the oldest queue message. Question number 9. Which of the below are valid application patterns that can benefit from durable functions? Select all the answers that apply to this statement. The correct answers are function chaining, fan out and fan in, async HTTP APIs. Question number 10. Which of the following types of blobs are designed to store text and binary data? The correct answer is block blob. Block blobs store text and binary data up to about 4.7 terabytes. Block blobs are made up of blocks of data that can be managed individually. Question number 11. There are three access tiers for block blob data: hot, cold, and archive. New storage accounts are created in which tier by default? Correct answer is hot. The hot access tier, which is optimized for frequent access of objects in the storage account. New storage accounts are created in the hot tier by default. Question number 12. True or false? All data written to Azure storage is automatically encrypted using SSL. The statement is wrong, so the answer is false. All data, including metadata, written to Azure storage is automatically encrypted using Storage Service Encryption or SSE. Question number 13. Which of the following redundancy options will protect your data in the event of a region-wide outage? The correct answers are read access geo-redundant storage, which is known as RAGRS, or GRS, which is geo-redundant storage. GRS and RAGRS will protect your data in case of a region-wide outage. LRS provides protection at the node level within a data center. ZRS provides protection at the data center level, which is zonal or non-zonal. Question number 14. Which of the below options would contain triggers and stored procedures in the Azure Cosmos DB hierarchy? The correct answer is containers. Stored procedures, user-defined functions, triggers, etc. are stored at the container level. Question number 15. The cost of all database operations is abstracted and normalized by Azure Cosmos DB and is expressed by which of the options below? The correct answer is request units. The cost of all database operations is normalized by Azure Cosmos DB and is expressed by request units or RUs for short. Question number 16. Azure Cosmos DB allows developers to choose among 5 well-defined consistency models: strong, bounded, staleness, session, consistent prefix, and eventual. Which of the statements below describing these models are true? Select all that apply. The correct answers are option 2 and 3. When the consistency level is set to bounded staleness, Cosmos DB guarantees that the client always read the value of a previous write. The next option is when the consistency level is set to strong, the staleness window is equivalent to 0 and the clients are guaranteed to read the latest committed value of the write operation. Question number 17. Partition keys should have many distinct values. If such a property doesn't exist in your data, you can construct a synthetic partition key. Which of the following methods below create a synthetic key? The correct answer is concatenate multiple properties of an item. You can form a partition key by concatenating multiple property values into a single artificial partition key property. These keys are referred to as synthetic keys. Question number 18. An availability set is a logical grouping of virtual machines within a data center that allows Azure to understand how your application is built to provide for redundancy and availability. Is the following statement about availability set is true or false? So let's read the statement. It is recommended that a minimum of 3 or more VMs are created within an availability set to provide for a highly available application and to meet the 99.95% Azure SLA. The statement is false. 2 or more VMs are necessary to meet the 99.95% Azure SLA. Question number 19. Docker is a containerization platform used to develop, ship, and run containers. Which of the following uses the Docker REST API to send instruction to either a local or remote server? The correct answer is Docker client. The Docker client is a command line application named Docker that provides us with a command line interface to interact with a Docker server. The Docker command uses the Docker REST API to send instructions to either a local or remote server and functions as the primary interface we use to manage our containers. Question number 20. What does the following Docker command do? The command is docker rmi temp dash ubuntu colon version dash 1.0. The correct answer is removed the image with a version. You can remove an image from the local Docker registry with the docker rmi command. Specify the name or ID of the image to remove. Question number 21. The top level resource in Azure Container Instance is the container group. A container group is a collection of containers that get scheduled on the same host machine. Your solution requires using a multi-container group. Which host operating system should you use? Correct answer is Linux. Multi-container groups currently support only Linux containers. For Windows containers, Azure Container Instances only supports deployment of a single instance. Question number 22. In the context of Azure Active Directory, application is frequently used as a conceptual term, referring to not only the application software but also its Azure AD registration and role in authentication, authorization, conversation at runtime. In that context, what role or roles can an app function? The correct answer is both client and resource server role. By definition, an app can function in these roles. Question number 23. What resources or objects are created when you register an Azure AD application in the portal? Select all the answers which is correct. The correct answers are application object and service principal object. When you register an Azure AD application in the Azure portal, two objects are created in your Azure AD tenant. Question number 24. Shared access signature is a signed URI that points to one or more storage resources and includes a token that contains a special set of query parameters. What are the two ways you can sign an SAS? The correct answers are with the storage account key and with user delegation key. You can sign a SAS in one of two ways. Question number 25. The Microsoft Authentication Library or MSAL defines two types of clients, public clients and confidential clients. Which of the two definitions below describe a public client application? The correct statement is the app is entrusted to safely keep application secret, so it only accesses web APIs on behalf of the user. It can't hold configuration time secrets, so it doesn't have client secrets. So Microsoft Authentication Library defines two types of clients: public clients and confidential clients. Let's look at the last question in the part 1. With MSAL.NET 3.x, the recommended way to instantiate an application is by using application builders, public client application builder and confidential client application builder. True or false? All of the dot with modifiers can be used for both the public and confidential builders. The statement is false. Most of the dot with modifiers can be used for both public and confidential app builders. There are a few that are specific to the confidential client, which are dot with certificate and dot client secret. Question number 27. Azure Key Vault is a tool for securely storing and accessing secrets. A secret is anything that you want to tightly control access to, such as API keys, passwords, or certificates. A vault is a logical group of secrets. True or false? Azure Key Vault requires that you always pass credentials through your code to access stored secrets. The statement is false. You can use a managed identity to authenticate to Key Vault or any service that supports Azure AD authentication without having any credentials in your code. Question number 28. Below are some characteristics of a managed identity. Created as a standalone Azure resource, independent lifecycle must be explicitly deleted and can be shared. Are the listed characteristics associated with a user or system assigned identity? The answer is user assigned identity. These are characteristics of a user assigned identity. System assigned identities are created as part of a resource and are deleted when the resource is deleted and can't be shared. Question number 29. The Azure Key Vault service supports protocol versioning to provide compatibility with down level clients, although not all capabilities will be available to those clients. True or false? If you don't specify an API version using the API version parameter key, Vault will default to the current version. The statement is false. Clients must use API-version query string parameter to specify the version of protocol that they support, as there is no default. Question number 30. Azure App Configuration provides a service to centrally manage application settings and feature flags. Azure App Configuration stores configuration data as key value pairs. Which of the below are valid uses of the label attribute in key pairs? Select all that apply. The correct answers are create multiple versions of a key value and specify multiple environments for the same key. Labels add a layer of metadata to the key value pairs. You can use them to differentiate multiple versions of the same key, including environments. And labels are not values. You should never store application secrets in the app configuration. Question number 31. Which of the options below matches the following definition? A security identity that user created apps, services, and automation tools use to access specific Azure resources. The correct answer is service principal. An Azure service principal is a security identity that user created apps, services, and automation tools use to access specific Azure resources. Question number 32. API management helps organizations publish APIs to external, partner, and internal developers to unlock the potential of their data and services. Which of the below options is used to set up policies like quotas? The correct answer is Azure Portal. The Azure Portal is the administrative interface where you set up your API program. Question number 33. In Azure API management, Policies are a powerful capability of the system that allow the publisher to change the behavior of the API through configuration. Which of the options below accurately reflects how policies are applied? The correct answer is all of the above. A configuration can be divided into inbound, backend, outbound, and on error. The series of specified policy statements is executed in order for a request and a response. Question number 34. A control flow policy applies policy statements based on the results of the evaluation of Boolean expressions, true or false. A control flow policy must contain at least one otherwise element. The statement is false. The control flow policy must contain at least one when element. The otherwise element is optional. Question number 35. The return response policy aborts pipeline execution and returns either a default or custom response to the caller. What is the default response code? The correct answer is 200 OK. The default response is 200 OK with no body. Question number 36. Regarding Azure Event Grid, which of the below represents the smallest amount of information that fully describes something happening in the system? Correct answer is events. An event is the smallest amount of information that fully describes something that happened in the system. Every event has common information like source of the event, time of the event took place, and unique identifier. Question number 37. Azure Event Grid has three types of authentication. Select the valid type of authentication from the list below. The answers are custom topic publishing, event subscription, webhook event delivery. Azure Event Grid has these three types of authentication. Question number 38. Azure Event Hubs is a big data streaming platform and event injection service. What type of service is it? The correct answer is PaaS. Event Hub is a fully managed platform as a service with little configuration or management overhead. Question number 39. In .NET programming, which of the below is the primary class for interacting with Event Hubs? The correct answer is Microsoft.Azure.EventHubs.EventHub client. The primary class for interacting with Event Hubs is Microsoft.Azure.EventHubs.EventHub client. You can instantiate this class using createFormConnectionString method. Question number 40. Which of the following advanced features of Azure Service Bus is used to guarantee a first in, first out guarantee? The correct answer is message sessions. To create a first in, first out guarantee in Service Bus, use sessions. Message sessions enable joint and ordered handling of unbounded sequences of related messages. Question number 41. In Azure Service Bus, which of the following receive modes in best for scenario in which the application can tolerate not processing a message if a failure occurs? The correct answer is receive and delete. Receive and delete mode is the simplest model and works best for scenarios in which the application can tolerate not processing a message if a failure occurs. Question number 42. In Azure Queue Storage, what is the default time to live for a message? Correct answer is 7 days. The default time that a message can remain in the queue is 7 days. Question number 43. In Azure Queue Storage, which two methods below are used to dequeue a message? Get message and delete message. Your code dequeues a message from a queue in two steps. When you call get message, you get the next message in a queue. A message returned from the get message becomes invisible to any other code reading messages from this queue. By default, this message stays invisible for 30 seconds. To finish removing the message from the queue, you must also call delete message. Question number 44. The application insights .NET and .NET Core SDKs ship with two built-in channels. Which channel below has the capability to store data on a local disk? The correct answer is server telemetry channel. The server telemetry channel has retry policies and the capability to store data on a local disk. Question number 45. True or false? The URL ping test in Application Insight uses ICMP to check a site's availability. The statement is wrong. So answer is false. The test is not making any use of ICMP to check your site's availability. Instead, Application Insight uses more advanced HTTP request functionality to validate whether an endpoint is responding. Question number 46. In the cloud, transient faults aren't uncommon, and an application should be designed to handle them elegantly and transparently. Which of the following are valid strategies for handling transient errors? Check all that apply. The correct answers are retry after a delay, cancel, and retry. Retry after a delay, retry, and cancel are all valid strategies for handling transient faults. Question number 47. Data in Reddish cache is stored in nodes and clusters. Which of the statements below are true? Select all that apply. The correct answers are nodes are a space where data is stored and clusters are sets of three or more nodes. 48. True or false? Azure Reddish cache resources requires a globally unique name. The statement is true. The Reddish cache will need a globally unique name. The name has to be unique within Azure because it is used to generate a public facing URL to connect and communicate with the service. Let's look at the last question. The Reddish database is represented by the iDatabase type. Which of the following methods creates a group of operation to be sent to the server and processed as a single unit? The correct answer is create transaction. The create transaction method creates a group of operations that will be sent to the server as a single unit and processed on the server as a single unit. So thank you so much for taking your time to go through this content. I wish you all the very best for your examination.